Race has been at the forefront of America's mindset for months, as evidenced by today's protests.
And our next guest's new movie adds a twist to that conversation. Holly Morris has more.
Yes, and with much pleasure, I tell you that joining me now live is Academy Award winner, Emmy Award winner, Kevin Costner, and the star of the new drama, Black or White. Thanks so much for coming in with us this morning.
Thanks.
You know, I'm going to start with the timing of the movie because we're just coming off you saw the Ferguson, D.C. protest. When you were making this movie, there's no way that you could predict how timely this movie is. So why back then was this movie so important for you to do?
Well, you know, our problems really didn't start in August and on the streets of New York. We've been dealing with this for so long, and we're going to continue to have to deal with this. But this movie wasn't made in anticipation or on the back of what is going on. It's just for me, when I read it, I thought, wow, this is a real contemporary look at where we're at in this country when it comes to race. And so when I see that, just the same way when I saw Field of Dreams or Dancers with Wolves, I just felt like I really need to make this movie. And Black or White fell actually into that category because it spoke kind of so loud to me about my own feelings, and I think about a lot of things people would like to say, would like to hear, and somehow are not saying. So the movie's a little bit of a miracle, but I'm really happy we made it.
It's a conversation that needed to get started, basically. For people that aren't familiar with the premise of the movie, kind of set up Black or White.
Well, I play a grandfather, okay, a young one. I play a really young grandfather, and I lost my wife, and my daughter had a biracial baby, and she's no longer alive either. So what happens is this biracial child is in my life, and the other side of the family feels like they would like her in their side of life because they don't think that I'm equipped to actually take care of her. And a custody battle comes out of that. And you know, it's surprisingly funny. It's you know, break your heart into 1,000 pieces in places.
I'm still putting mine back together. I saw the movie on Monday, and I cried from the opening scene, and then I cried throughout the movie for various reasons. It's a heavy movie, but it does have some wonderful moments of levity.
Yeah, I mean, nothing in life suffers from a sense of humor, and certainly Black or White has it. But it was, you know, when you make a movie, you want it to do well, but what you really want, you're wanting it to be number one. That who knows whatever happens to a movie, that's some other god that you pray to. But when you make a movie, the hope is, and the reality is that it can live forever. And when we made Black or White, I felt like it could absolutely take its place alongside movies like Field of Dreams and Dances with Wolves. It just is one that I think hopefully you'll see when it comes out on the 30th, but it's a movie I think that will be talked about, and people will revisit it because, like in life, you go, yeah, that's what I wanted to say, what he said. And that happens a lot in this movie.
I think you can relate to a lot of these characters. It's a very real movie, and you know, a lot of the characters, almost all of them, are flawed in some way, but yet you still find that you love them. And that's kind of how life is with our relationships.
I mean, it's like a big duh moment. Like, of course, we are all flawed. I mean, we come in here and we get, you know, we dress up the best we can, we talk the best we can, and when this day is over, we go home, and who knows how flawed we are. I mean, we are, and everybody really knows that. And when we actually reveal that, somehow people take a breath and go, you're just like me, huh? You're just like me. And hopefully, you know, you don't have the problems that these particular characters do, but when you see yourself in a movie, that there's something authentic comes, and a real connection, and you know, you don't feel like you're being tricked.
You know, there's been a lot of talk that this has been some of your best work in some time, if not your best acting work. It's a heavy character. Who did you or what did you draw upon to bring this person to life?
Well, I've been around in the world, so I've seen people behave. I understand the emotions of loss, the things that come with it, the emotions of, you know, I mean, the realities of alcohol, the reality of addiction. I've seen it at work. I've seen it, you know, in play. And all those things I was going to be required to kind of put forth. So the fact that I'd seen them, I thought I understood how to go about that and try to disappear in the role and let people, you know, I mean, in the first minute, you have to let go of me and get into the movie.
I did. I'm telling you, you should see it. It comes out January 30th. I brought up your acting because you're receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award tonight at the Critics' Choice Awards, and the president of that said, you know, your performance in this movie is one of the reasons they chose you. So the good news is You're not going anywhere. You're staying with us for a little bit more time because obviously we're going to talk to Kevin Costner about more than just black or white. You have a favorite Kevin Costner movie? Maybe several if you're like me. Tweet us them. If you have any questions for him, tweet us those as well. We're going to continue our conversation with the Hollywood legend Kevin Costner when Good Day at 10 a.m. comes right back. Stay with us.
Lowest score wins. Play golf. We don't got a country club. We don't even got a Kmart.
Didn't know McFarland had a team.
4th place. That's not too shabby.
4th out of 4, also known as last.
Better luck next time, boys.
There's a scene right there from Kevin Costner's other new movie, McFarland USA, about a high school cross-country team, and that one opens next month. So if you're just joining us right now, Academy Award winner Kevin Costner has been kind enough to spend a little more time with us this morning. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in this morning. I was telling them earlier, I think the last time you were here for Swing Vote years ago.
Right.
I think that was, what, like 2008?
Yeah, I don't know.
Really, a long time ago. There's like 30 movies in between there.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. When you've done so many different movies, and obviously you're getting the Lifetime Achievement Award tonight, the Critics' Choice Award, which I hope doesn't mean that things are over. You know, sometimes that's a little odd to get a Lifetime Achievement.
Right.
But what movie are you recognized for most when you travel around the nation?
Well, that's been almost the joy for me because I'm kind of glad that my career hasn't drilled down to one movie. That would be actually kind of sad. Oh, one movie. You know, it's this movie. And when somebody comes up to me, I don't know what's going to come out of their mouth. I don't know if they're going to say Fandango. I don't know if they're going to say Silverado. I don't know if they're going to say Untouchables, No Way Out, JFK, or The Bodyguard. You know, people go to Field of Dreams. You know, they go to dances. You know, some will go to open range. You know, I'm always surprised and actually am happy that it has been that way.
We're going to share our favorites in just a second, but if there was a way to have some kind of time capsule and you could only put one of your movies in there, could you pick one?
I don't know, but I have gone on record saying, you know, I've had this career, and I just finished this movie, Black or White, and I could sincerely say that if I never made another movie, I would be happy if Black or White. My children knew that that was the last movie I made. I feel that strongly about what that movie is.
That's not the last movie, right?
No.
You're not going on record
but
and
you
saying
know what
you're
I mean? I mean, if I had to, you know, you're away from home sometimes. You're not with your children as much as you would like to be, as much as they would like to have it. And so they're going to look one day at what you've done.
Sure.
And they're going to look at the movies. And while that's not going to be the greatest answer to them, they're going to say, my dad was up to something.
That's deep. You've done a lot of movies about things that you're personally passionate about. Is there anything that you're passionate about that has not been on film yet that you'd still like to do?
I don't know about that. I mean, that's a very tough question. It's like, you know, I'm kind of open to the universe. So when I hear something good, when I see that I want to do something, whether it's kind of work on oil spills or work on a book, or I'm going to go do this movie, or something that's not related to movies at all. That's kind of how I roll. My eyes are wide open. My interest level is really high. I have a kind of boyish enthusiasms about what's possible.
Right. Now, a lot of people are tweeting because we ask people to tweet and ask some questions to you. So one of the persons that tweeted, sent us a question, was about the Bodyguard movie and asked what it was like working with Whitney Houston. I know that's, you've done a lot of movies, but they want to know about that.
Everyone wants to know what it was like to kiss her. I get. I'm not a dummy. That was fun, you know, and I got to do it more than once, you know. I don't know if she messed up or I messed up. We did it multiple times. You know, listen, you know, she will live forever because of her music. And, you know, some of the things we do artistically in our life, if we do it right, they have a chance to live forever, whether it's a movie or a book or a song. And Whitney will be with us forever. And doesn't matter how anybody talks, you know, if I hear something being whispered on some level, usually it's very, very positive. The truth is I get a little smile because we had a moment in time, Whitney and I, and we made a movie that is traveling through time now, and I will never forget her, and it's hard to forget her.
Right. Now we got a surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
It's hard to surprise you, but we got a surprise for you. So we want to bring in our special guest. This is your guest surprise right here.
Is this it?
This is it. This is you.
Right here. Hey.
Anthony Mackie.
Funny to see you here. Look at that.
Good morning to you, Mr. Mackie. Good to see you.
What's up, man?
So are you surprised?
Well, I am. Listen, I saw him last night, and it's been a really pleasure getting to know Anthony and watching the trajectory of his career and his choices, and so smart about it. And when he could be doing the next big movie, he decided to come down and make this movie, because I know he said to me, personally, that there was some things that his character said that he's been wanting to say a long time.
That brings up a question for me, because I know Octavia Spencer was also in the movie, and with three people with such credibility as you all have, when this movie is dealing with such a real life topic, how much, like, when you're shooting the scenes or you're doing the script, do you step back and say, no, it wouldn't have been like this, my character would have said this? Did any of that happen? Any creative license at all?
Not really. I think a lot of it has to do with the film and the director. A movie like this that's really specific, and it came in, the script was very tight, and the characters were spot on. There were times with Mike, the writer-director, that we would talk about certain scenes and try to figure out a better way to act them and things like that, but not so much changing whole lines in the script, no, because it was very well written.
All right, now that the two of you have worked together, do you guys, either one of you, have a dream team, whether it either be other actors or directors that you would just absolutely love to work with while you're still in this career?
Well, I think you do that, but it's also can be a trap.
Was this the one?
Well, let me tell you what. Anthony is really good, and you're going to be amazed by his career going forward. But I mean, I have been lucky. I've worked with Sean Connery and Gene Hackman, and you can go right down the list. And there are people that I wanted to work to, but the trap you got to avoid is make sure you get in the right movie.
Yeah.
And no matter how much you want to work with them, to go in blind because you like somebody so much, it's a mistake. To go in where the movie is the star, and Anthony was right. This script was tight. We're fairly charming guys, but it takes a movie. It takes a really well-written movie for us to be at our very best, and for us to make something that perhaps people will talk about forever. And movies have that chance.
Yeah.
Quickly, before we go, Anthony's staying with us. Mr. Costner has to leave us. Got to fly to LA and get that Lifetime Achievement Award. Real quickly, our favorite Kevin Costner movies.
It is Bodyguard.
Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Okay, it's really hard for me to forget the limo scene in No Way Out. But look at Steve. Like, I'm talking here. So I like the limo scene in No Way Out. Yeah. But my all-time favorite, went to Duke. Bull Durham. Went to many Durham Bull games myself, and the I Believe speech is one of my favorite scenes that and there it is. Listen to over and over all the time.
Thanks.
How could you not say Field of Dreams?
How could you not say Field of Dreams? That one was too obvious.
On a desert island, I'm taking
I like Bull Durham, but
tell you what time it is.
Oh, man.
I got to go Fandango. I got to go old school with you. That's one of my favorites. Would love to say we got this for you, but our budget is not Hollywood. It's just a box.
And this is hollow.
It's just a box. Kevin Costner, thanks so much for joining us. Black and White looks fantastic.
Thank
I hope
you.
everybody goes out and
It
sees
is
it.
fantastic.
You can see both of these gentlemen in it. Anthony, you're going to stick around for a minute?
Definitely.
Perfect.
All right.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
We'll watch you on A&E tonight when they have those awards live. Congratulations.